Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
That's cool. It's
Uh,
yeah, I think that like the reason, like I said, the reason why they did this early was because they wanted people to see that he was virile. Okay? That he
yeah.
was a stud. And he absolutely is not a fucking stud. He did not show up tonight.
Did
There
you
were
see that, like, they were leaking to the Wall Street Journal that he has a cold?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
That's great. That definitely fixes it.
yeah, thanks for, telling us now.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't look like you were trying to desperately do PR as a last ditch effort. You know? Certainly.
Well, I
Um,
guess there is a second debate in September.
he's not. Is he gonna survive? Is he gonna survive until September? Like he's dying. He's
Yeah.
literally fucking dying in front of our eyes. He is a cadaver rotting. That was incredible. Like
Yeah.
I personally think that this is going to have like CNN can try to spin this as hard as they want, but this was a unfathomable W for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Like not even a question, because everybody pays attention to the beginning of the debate, right? Like that's the most important part. And the beginning of the debate, Biden unironically performed worse. Because this was about like not even what Biden was saying, but how Biden was saying it. And
Yeah.
on the aesthetics front, he just he can't do anything. He just looks old. Like he looks like his face is kind of like, he's constantly got the old man face.
Yeah. It's not, I mean, he looked old in 2020, but he could at least, like, deliver a point. Like, he couldn't, like, he took, like, his best issue, abortion. Trump literally said that it was a good thing that Roe v. Wade was overturned. Like, that's a layup. You've been begging for him to say that for,
Yeah.
like, a year. And he couldn't press with that. He brought up Laken Riley.
Yeah,
Why
that
would
was
you do that?
insane. He looked lost the entire time. Sources, by the way, look at the Chiron. Sources, Democrats concerned about Biden's performance tonight. It's so Jover.
That quick? Like, 5 minutes? It took them that long to kind of tell what was going on?
Yeah. He also personally said the Border Patrol liked my bill like a fucking idiot. And the Border Patrol Union immediately came out and said, to be clear, we never have and never will endorse Biden. Like, what the fuck are the Democrats thinking?
He's been doing that constantly, and it hasn't worked. They announced that deal in December, and his numbers only improved after the conviction. The idea that he can, like, move to the right to solve his issues is just, there are people like who were swearing up and down before this that the issue here was like his FTC commissioner, like, and it's just, I mean, you can't Keir Starmer your way out of this. The issue is clearly the guy on stage.
Yeah. No, it's really, really bad. And it's really bad. And it's not like it's a layup for an average Democrat, not like a top performer. Dean Phillips could do a better job showing. Kamala Harris could do a better job showing up and demonstrating positions. Because like Donald Trump is sitting up there saying some of the most heinous, unimaginably insane shit. The problem is when you lock yourself into the fucking, we are the party that is going to restrict immigration, though, you can't really do anything about it. You can't really
accepted his framing. They said he was right.
You cannot outflank your opponent on racism, on police brutality, and like, you know, doing more, funding the police more, like being tough on crime. You just cannot outflank the Republican Party on these issues. All you're doing is basically capitulating to their framing on the matter.
Yeah. I don't know how you could even like really argue like the Trump, because they've admitted that he was like saying, oh, on my second term, I'm going to shut down the border completely. I'm only halfway there. Like, what are you saying? Like, why did we elect you if Trump was right about this? What was the point?
Like the example I used before, and I will repeat it here because we have 100,000 plus people watching, is like, if in a hypothetical scenario, in an alternative universe where, you know, Bernie Sanders is running on Medicare for all, he became the fucking Democratic Party's actual presidential candidate, and he's going up against Donald Trump in 2016, and Donald Trump, being the populist that he is, turns around and says, actually, I think Bernie's right, Medicare for all is good. Do you think that that is going to cause people to go and vote for Donald Trump because he's the Medicare for all candidate? Or do you think more people are going to go, oh shit, even Trump is admitting it, well, I'm going to go with the Medicare for all guy?
Exactly.
Like, that's it. There's no world in which you turn around and go, you know what, actually, I want to vote for Biden because he's the border guy. No, you're going to go with the fucking border guy who's been talking about how rapist immigrants are, how they've invented new ways of doing rape for like the past fucking 8 years, you know? All you've now done is basically solidify his position as truth, even though the underlying evidence for it, the premises that this immigration conversation is derived from, is complete nonsense. It is made up, hysterical, schizophrenic hallucinations of some of the most racist Republicans you've ever seen. There are so many studies on this. For the first time ever, I heard NPR talk about this morning on The Issue Is or whatever, one of those fucking NPR shows, where they finally said it. They were like, yeah, immigration is a really tough issue for Biden. Also, simultaneously, immigration is a really tough issue for Biden. Also, there's no empirical evidence to suggest that immigrants are doing more crime than like natural-born U.S. citizens. As a matter of fact, there's only evidence to show that immigrants are responsible for less crime per capita than natural-born U.S. citizens. It took them this long to fucking say this.
It's not even true that they're bringing in fentanyl. Almost all fentanyl comes in through ports of entry, like legally.
Yes.
Would you know that if you listen to Biden? No.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like these are DHS numbers. 90% of all fentanyl trafficked over the border comes from regular points of entry. And you know who is actually the ones who are trafficking it? Not fucking undocumented migrants. It's Americans. It's like people who are less likely to be stopped and apprehended by Customs and Border Patrol. Those are the motherfuckers who are doing it. It's coming in shipping containers, and when it's coming with like individuals, it's coming in like American Honda Civics that are cut down with like white American dudes driving the Honda Civic because they're less likely to be fucking caught.
Yeah, Democrats used to say this like 5-6 years ago before Biden. They did push back against this stuff. They said the wall was stupid. They brought up that they said this, and the polling, they persuaded people. The wall was never popular. Immigration was never something Trump was actually good on. But they've had to construct these narratives about like how any issue Biden faces has to be something other than race. It has to be not race. I mean age. It has to be over like that he's too left-wing economically. It has to be that he's not pro-Israel enough. It has to be that he's not strong enough on immigration. They're throwing everything overboard so they can just avoid reality. And like something has got to give.
I know. It is really, really, really fucking frustrating. People are saying that MSNBC is in full panic mode right now. Like CNN, the Chiron is saying sources, them saying we have a problem after Biden's performance tonight. And like, he's losing the New York Times columnist. Like I showed, like, dude, like Nicholas Kristof is talking about how he needs to fucking drop out and shit. Like it's so Jover.
Yeah, it's just strange.
Like Newswire from Politico. Democrats freak out over Biden's debate performance. Biden is toast.
Even Jeff Tetrick just said, "What the fuck did I just watch?" Jeff Tetrick isn't spinning it.
Yeah, it's so bad. It is so unimaginably bad, and it's like we've been there. We have been here for years at this point. So it's kind of shocking that they are finally fucking coming to that recognition as though like this is what it took. Like, I don't know what the fuck their expectation was. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. That was the worst aura from a president I've ever seen in my life. Bro, he's dead. There's no more aura. He's 1 HP. Okay? Yeah. Someone needs to throw him a fucking health potion, but he's not going to survive. You know what I mean? He's done. He's dead. Aaron Rupar's fucking tweeting about like, oh, well, seems like Biden was a little flustered here. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's like the extent that like liberals have gone over the past year to just believe anything other than the fact that Biden might be too old. They have been willing to just say that Trump is popular. They've been willing to say that people want immigration restrictions. They've been willing to say that basically this country has no hope, and to live out this fantasy that Biden is the best candidate available. And it's why do you even do that? Why would you want to believe that?
It's because the Democratic Party is secretly run by accelerationist MAGA communists. That's why.
Yes.
Jimmy Dore is actually taking over the Democratic Party, and they're like, how do we get Trump a second term? We put Biden back in there. Okay, we roll him out, definitely, and then ultimately, you will, with a certainty, you will have Donald Trump as president. It's phenomenal. We're like, okay, let's go to Rachel Maddow. I want to hear what she has to say.
Just within a matter of moments. Lawrence, I also want to get your response. I think one of the interesting things that Alex said there was that some of the poor coherence and poor answers from Donald Trump are being viewed as standard Trump and therefore not newsworthy, while the performance from President Biden is being viewed as newsworthy because it came in below expectations.
Yeah, in any sort of normal universe, you would think the candidate who during the presidential debate said, "I didn't have sex with a porn star," was the loser of that debate.
Yeah.
That would be the normal scorecard. So let's just remember that so far, the only thing we've been concentrating on here is optics, that thing we call optics, and in this case also audio because of the aging voice of Joe Biden. But the question is that we don't know the answer to is voters out there who went into this debate thinking they're for Biden or they're for Trump or thinking whatever they were thinking. What in this debate of substance that was true?
Oh,
if
dude.
anything?
Dude.
No, they're saying it won't matter.
Dude, that doesn't matter. We're so far from substance, big dog. That only matters when you have a competent person who doesn't look fucking demented on stage.
Yeah, you're trying to pretend that this is anything other than the election that it is, which is it revolves
Which is how we got
around.
here. Which is how we got here. This is exactly how we got here because the Democrats and those in positions of power and those in like liberal and left wing liberal media have literally been acting like what everyone can see, what all the fucking polling results show, regardless of their steady effort to make it seem like that's not the case, is, ringing every fucking alarm bell that Brandon looks like he's dying. Okay. You can't have Karine Jean-Pierre go up there in a press conference and keep saying it's AI that makes him look old. Okay. You can't do that.
Cope. It's insane cope. And I want to, just so people don't forget, in the Senate races, this year, Democrats are leading in every single competitive state. They're leading in Ohio and Montana. This is not the result. Trump's lead is not the result of Americans becoming more conservative. They are not conservative. They just don't want to vote for the fucking crypt keeper.
Abso-fucking-lutely, dude. Absolutely. It is unimaginable how badly they're fucking up. This is actually, it's not that unimaginable. This is exactly what happened with Hillary Clinton in 2016. Everyone was like, yo, she's unlikable. Yo, she's unlikable. She's gross. Everybody fucking hates her. People hate her so much. Democratic Party primary voters were willing to vote for a fucking socialist. That's how much they fucking hated her. And yet it didn't matter. They're like, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. And then they lost.
At least she was polling ahead of Trump back then.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's that. You're right. At least she was performing better than Joe Biden. Oh, my Lord. It is actually crazy. I don't know.
There was I was just quickly reading this thing and some Obama guy said if this gets him to drop out, it was good. If it didn't, it's bad. It's just crazy that it took this to get to this point. This has been clear for a while now. It's Ed and Eddie's been off the air for a minute.
What? Just now, John King on CNN says senior Democrat officials are now considering going to the White House to call on Biden to step down following tonight's debate. We have
Let's
a problem.
go. They're marching on the Capitol.
Dude,
January
they're going to do a Bolivia-style coup. It's over. It's over. We're doing.
Let's go.
They're calling it the gayest coup of all time.
Oh my God. Whitmer head. the 18th premier of Gretchen Whitmer.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, I'll take her. I'll take JB Pritzker. It don't matter. Just not gruesome Newsom.
Gruesome Gavin. This is what we've been waiting for.
I mean, gruesome Gavin would push us over the finish line at this point.
Remember that debate with DeSantis? He killed it. This is easy.
Dude, he'd just be like, I fucked your daughter-in-law. That's what he would say. He'd be like, yeah, don't. Hey, keep Melania and Ivanka away from me. You know what I'm saying? Shit might get heated. You know how I am. But it is, there is no way. There's just no way to fucking fix this. Oh yeah, Bernie Sanders is too old. That was, it's just, Bernie Sanders age-wise is old. Is older than, he's obviously older than Joe Biden. He's obviously older than Donald Trump. And yet he is way more coherent. I don't think people understand, Joe Biden's mental faculties have fucking deteriorated, okay? It is so obvious. I can't believe they tried to do this. Like, oh, he just has a stutter shit for the longest fucking time. Like, it was so crazy, bro.
He did not have a stutter. Back in the day, he would talk. He was
Bro,
infamous for
David
talking
Axelrod,
constantly.
look at how wet he is. Why is he so wet? He's getting wetter by the moment.
No, Dave.
Oh my God, wait, what the fuck? What are they dousing him? Are they spraying him with water like a cat or something? What the fuck?
Moist Dave.
Dude, I've never seen someone so wet on camera. Yeah, we got to listen to what they have to
And
say.
he
Hold
continued
on.
to pummel Joe Biden all night. I understand what you're saying. But at the end of the night, very few things about the policy exchanges is going to be remembered. People are going to remember Joe Biden. They're going to remember him shuffling out. They're going to remember him staring blankly into the camera. They're going to remember him looking down, losing his train of thought. And they're going to remember that everything I thought I knew, but the White House told me don't believe my own eyes, is actually true.
But that's not what I'm saying. What I said,
Yes.
Scott, was if Joe Biden were not the candidate, if there was another
I gotta take a
candidate,
screenshot
I
of
think
this.
Donald Trump would be in deep
Yeah, but
trouble.
actually,
He
that's-
had
but-
If I may, that is such a sad state of affairs. Something I was consistently hearing is what a bad debate in the sense that Donald Trump lied throughout. He misrepresented. He tried to turn away from key points that he should have given
that's
answers
new.
on and
That's
kept
really
and kept
new.
deflecting.
Nobody thought
With
Donald
any
Trump was a
normal
liar.
generic Democrat next to him, I don't think he would have won the night. But you put somebody who was suffering from the moment that they got out. It was hard to watch. I had to occasionally look away because it was so uncomfortable. I think America deserves better than the options that are in front of them. It's really devastating. And by the way, our allies are watching.
Yeah, look, I mean, the way that I
Our
was trying to
allies
phrase
are
it, probably less
watching.
emotional, is Biden stuttered, but he told the truth. He looked terrible, but his policies were good. Trump spoke plainly, but he lied the whole time. And he
Doesn't
looked good,
matter,
but his policies were
perception.
terrible. I mean, he's going to do nothing on climate change. He was hugging the cactus on abortion. I mean, his policies are terrible. So you have somebody who probably shouldn't be president, and you have somebody who cannot be president in terms of what Donald Trump represents. So we have a problem as a country now, and this might be an opportunity for people to come together and figure this out, because neither one of those people right now are inspiring the confidence that they should inspire, that they can
There
do the
he
job
is,
in a way
Maoist Van
that's good for
Jones,
the country.
dude.
Yes.
Young voters are
He's
up for
saying
grabs in
cultural
this election.
revolution
I don't know
now.
a voter
We're
under
back.
30 who would have watched tonight and could say, I have confidence
These are the
in
people
Joe
who need to
Biden
get together
casting my
and do a
vote for
struggle
4 more
session.
years of Biden.
And this opens the door, by the way, for the conversation about if Joe Biden remains the candidate, you're not voting for Joe Biden.
Oh no, the spin
You are
room, they
voting for President
evacuated.
Kamala Harris. Let's be
They
honest.
evacuated the
That is
spin
where the
room?
true
No,
campaign is gonna go with
they're
this.
coming
They
in
started
now.
down this road with a
They had to
ad
do
they
a-
released today.
they had to get their
But
talking
this
points.
conversation about who you're actually casting your
The
vote
pure
for,
bunker
the
moment.
volume is going to ratchet up, and I got news for you. She's less popular than he is. That is going to be a big problem for the Democrats if this ticket stays the way it is.
Yeah, and a Scott's Democratic friend who maxed out, right? That's the sentiment you're going to hear, I think, from some of my Democratic friends who are texting me saying, "I can't believe this is where we are." Right?
Yeah.
I don't forgive. I'm not going to be able to forgive the party for putting in this position.
Look,
on
I
the
also
lies
think-
about on Donald Trump's
Dude,
lies.
I've
I mean,
never been
I
so.
spent a lot
I've
of
never
time
been
thinking
more
about this
vindicated.
throughout
It's
the
the
debate
easiest
because,
lock, but like,
you know,
Jesus
me
Christ.
in the media, I
know.
sit in the chair and I fact check Trump all the time, so I know these lies by heart
Yes,
at
you
this
do.
point. But people watching from home do not.
Fuck all these
And
liberals.
Biden's job as the other person on the other side of the stage is to be the one to very quickly dispense with the lies and to shut them down. And I don't think that happened enough times in a coherent way to blunt the fact that Trump was taking a universe that was built on a house of lies and building a whole world for the millions of people watching.
Particularly
And
on some of the most basic
on basic
subject
stuff.
matters that
And
President Biden should have
world-
been able to just...
That world that he was able to build, it was not knocked down by the president. That is really at the heart of the problem. He may have won when he was making his discrete policy points, but part of the job on the debate stage is dealing with an opponent like Donald Trump who goes like a mile a minute on things that are not true. And if you don't
I'm
deal
not
with
sure,
that,
Abby.
I don't know. No one at home is doing that.
All I
No
want
one
to
at
say
home
is
doing that.
I'm not sure. I don't think you're giving viewers enough credit. I think what they saw was the Trump that they didn't like, And I don't think he did himself a great service tonight.
Yeah, but
Yes, and I also think we should just. I also think we
Kamala
should
is about to
let
go live
voters
on
absorb this and
MSNBC.
see what they say, right? Let's look
They
at
might
the
surprise
dials.
you.
Let's
They're
look
bringing
at-
out the big
Let's
guns.
look at where they are next week.
might
We can
break-
make our pronouncements, but
quickly.
ultimately voters have to absorb
They're
it.
going to
and
turn
let's
your
see
mics
what
off,
they say.
guys.
Real
You're gonna
quickly,
turn your mics off.
on the one thing that, that Biden did fact check him on the Charlottesville thing, he was completely wrong. All right, so he's up there talking about Charlottesville and Trump not denouncing the two sides, and Snopes was out last week, 7 months, 7 years too late kind of thing on the deal. And that's the thing Joe Biden's going to fact check him on, something that was proven false.
We're gonna more with the panel out here. A lot of notable moments, painful moments from tonight. But as we've been talking about, perhaps a single defining one as well. This one early on.
Oh God, what are they gonna play? Oh, I thought they were gonna play the fucking clip of him stuttering immediately. That is so bad. Oh no. Frank Luntz, after the first commercial break, I asked my focus group of undecided voters how many of them are more convinced to vote for Joe Biden. 0 raised their hands. Half of them say they voted for Biden in 2020.
Yo, he popped off.
Dude. Yeah, Jenkin, you were right on Thanksgiving. Yeah, we had this conversation very publicly multiple times at this point. And it's like, oh no. Unless Kamala Harris goes up there and is like magically no longer doing perks, instead is like, switch it up to like some uppers and decides to start talking about a fucking coup, like a people's revolution or something. The Democratic Party's chances are fucking absolutely cooked.
Yeah.
This is the Onion article. Onion.
It's gonna be awesome when they win like the Texas Senate race and like lose fucking like New York to Trump.
Yeah. No, it is the most insane thing I've ever seen. You were bringing this up before we switched over to CNN, but like the Democratic Party down ballot is going to, for the first time ever, potentially carry the top of the ticket. That's not normal. That doesn't happen. Like they literally are outperforming. Dude, Democratic senators in their races right now are outperforming Joe Biden in Nevada, Arizona, and many other fucking states by like 10 points, sometimes 15 points. That is so insane.
It doesn't happen. People literally, the really pro-Biden people are like, well, this literally can't happen. These numbers are too big. Well, maybe like it's not like that infeasible. Maybe there's something different about this one guy compared to like regular ass fucking Bob Casey or Jackie Rosen or whoever.
Someone in his focus group, in Franklin's focus group, said, I don't even know if Biden can make it to November. I mean, yeah, me. I think that.
Even if like he drops out here, it's still so fucking embarrassing because he could have dropped out like at any point before this. It didn't have to get to this point.
Yep. No, it is every single day that is wasted is getting closer and closer to absolute bedlam. I mean, we're already there. Like, what are they going to do? I guess they can do like the convention, like they can change it up, old school style, rock out with your cock out like it's fucking the 60s again.
I know, that'd be kind of sick.
There were so many people.
Yeah, I don't even know how I mean, I guess the DNC technically, legally, because they fought that court case after 2016, they legally could choose whoever the fuck they want.
Oh, that's always been the case. They just don't do it like that ever since the 70s.
They could choose. I'm just saying they could choose whoever they want. Like they could literally completely cast aside all of the delegates and everything else and just be like, no, this is our guy.
That's always how it's worked. They always used to pick him out of back rooms. And some of our greatest presidents came out of back rooms. You know what? They chose FDR out of a back room.
Performances, and it is going to be an immense challenge.
Nicole Wallace on MSNBC talking about you can't change a candidate, but you can. There were people talking about how that process works and the convention is live and active. Oh my God, Jenk was right, dude. Vindication.
No
Graf
reporters are
Shank.
talking to them. Every reporter in here has just swarmed the two Biden surrogates that are inside this room. And I think what I'm most struck by after listening to that entire performance and talking to the Biden campaign officials and covering President Biden myself his first 2 years in office was part of his closing statement there. He made no mention of abortion or Donald Trump's felony conviction. The two things that they have talked about the most, the fact that that is the biggest contrast between President Biden and former President Donald Trump. Obviously, the felony conviction.
He
but
lit
also
up
what
when
they've
talking
done on
about golf.
reproductive
He lit
rights
up
and
when
the
talking
fact
about
that three
Social
of the
Security. He was like
justices who
definitely
helped
good on
overturn
like
Roe
a
versus
couple
Wade
issues, but
were
that's
put over
it.
the Supreme Court
He lit up when
by
talking about
former
how he
President
doesn't
Donald
support
Trump. But
abortion.
on January 6th itself,
He lit
as an
up
issue,
when talking about the
don't-
presidential scholars. That was a big
Yeah.
hit. Everybody wanted to know what presidential scholars think about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You know?
I heard that the academics don't like him. That's huge fucking news. Nobody knew that.
Dude, yeah.
who delivered an
I'm a
address on the
Pennsylvania
anniversary
HVAC
of
business
January
owner.
6th
I'm
that
changing
Donald
my
Trump was
mind
holding
instantaneously
a
after this.
dagger to the throat of democracy, did not seize on that moment and did not take that.
So can I just for a moment, because we can hear him, and this is happening right now. So I just in this moment, he's at a watch party.
No.
They're cheering 4 more years. He's speaking. What I'm curious about, okay?
Oh no.
Is does he know how bad this was?
this isn't
This moment.
They're
He walked
talking
out to
like
his aides.
they're
Does he
talking
know?
about him like he's a
You
dog.
can hear him a little bit on the mic.
Like he's a dog that pooped on the carpet.
You know, he's not the first president who's had a really.
Since we can hear it, why don't we listen to a little bit of it? Okay.
Oh, does he know how bad he did?
Carolina. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to go home with you. Thank you.
We're gonna take out a giant cane.
All right, so there he is. Thank
That's
you, thank
it?
you. The rousing applause going to that party.
Apparently
He
he's
wasn't
back
a
on the
third that
crowd for
vibrant
extended
or
periods of time. It's
vigorous
pretty
inside the debate body.
Yeah, I mean, I think fundamentally, I think a lot of Americans saw Donald Trump they recognized tonight, right? His mannerisms, his quickness in his response, and as you talked about, lies and information that was incorrect. Unfortunately, they also saw a Joe Biden maybe they don't recognize. This is not the person who was quick on his feet or fast to parry or to respond quickly to
This is the
misinformation,
gentlest way to put him
respond quickly
down.
to lies.
He hasn't been that Joe Biden in a long time.
Oh,
this
well,
was
I
the
mean, my
culmina-
comment
this
was
the
it
culmination
Chris
of the
Wallace, a
process.
fox
Perhaps, but it
knows with a
also
top
was
rope.
stark. You know, before I went into this conversation, I thought about the idea of infirm versus unstable. And I think that Joe Biden did not do enough to mitigate the idea that he is infirm. And Donald Trump was able to mitigate looking unstable. When I think about how he talked about abortion, for instance, trying to show that he was not extreme in some way. I know people are pointing out his lies tonight. That is also something that Joe Biden was to be doing in a more effective way and did not. And so it's sort of hard to be here now and say, this is was said and that was said. Like, that's your job on the stage to also jump in quickly.
There
And
were
say,
also
"That's
moments
not
where the sentence would end, and there was maybe an attempt to have a back
Oh,
and
no.
forth between them,
Don't
obviously
bring
because
that
the
up.
mics, they weren't
Oh,
able to
no.
do that, and then there would be another question.
It wasn't the Biden
Bro,
should
they're
have to use
cooking.
your
They're
time
cooking 'em.
effectively. And unfortunately, the president did not do that.
I'm going to pick up on that. I mean, there was a question asked about what are you going to do for blacks and which black voters, which is a constituency that Biden is in terrible jeopardy of losing. He finishes his statement and
He's not, but after tonight, maybe. But like
49
that's
seconds.
crazy. But they're saying he's that's insane that people say this kind of shit. By the
Social
way,
Security.
she's like,
and I
no,
think it
that's
was
not
Dana
true.
Says, you have 82 seconds left. I mean, he wasn't
He did
able
lose a
to
lot of
even
support,
fill the
but not
2-minute time he was
outright.
given, where the other guys might go up to talk about black voters and protecting Social Security.
And not to, I don't speak on behalf of black voters, but that was a great example of an issue where both of them sounded just like wild. What is the policy? What is a black job and a black child care? It was like, what is happening? It was very similar to the end when they started going off about golf. Why? I mean, those are those moments where I think as a voter, you're just like, these are the options, and it
Childcare
doesn't feel
costs
great.
is one of the #1 concerns that you hear from parents in this country. Parents have to quit their jobs because it's less expensive for one person to not
Because they're
work instead of
spending all their money at the Hasanabi broadcast at the top of the hour when there's a 3-minute ad break
answer on that.
chat.
They were both answering questions
That's
about
why parents
very
are
different
leaving the-
topics. I mean, Chris and I turned to each other and said, this was a question about childcare.
They have no more
costs.
money left. But Twitch Prime is free.
But I'll note that
If you don't want to see the
mics
ads at the top of the
and
hour,
that
here's a
was-
3-minute ad break
the
now.
Biden campaign agreed to that. They wanted that because they were so frustrated by how that first debate in 2020 went on this issue. And you did see Biden not using his time effectively with those times where Trump was not answering the question. I mean, Trump was asked 3 times if he would accept the results of the 2024 election. Obviously a critical question as we find ourselves in a state where he sought to overturn the election results here and was indicted and had his mugshot taken about 3 miles from where we're sitting right now. And that was not a moment that became a point of focus. It was like watching a debate with someone who is not a convicted felon and is not also under all of these criminal charges. And I think that is a question of why President Biden himself, who brings it up in other moments, did not use it more effectively. They used it in the one moment where he brought up Stormy Daniels as well. Donald Trump denied
What
having
the
sex
fuck
with
is
her.
this?
And another
Polly
surreal
Market
moment
2024
in this debate. I don't
presidential
think
election
that that's
winner,
ever been
Donald Trump
uttered on a presidential
66%,
debate
plus
stage.
44.
But it was something that you see President
Joe
Biden
Biden
talk more
22%,
about
Gavin Newsom
from the White
6%.
House or in
Yo,
front of
gruesome Gavin
donors.
Surge.
Trump's
Gavin
attempt to
Surge.
spin January 6th. I just thought, oh, here we are in one of the most bizarre moments,
This
right?
makes
the
me
idea
so
that
sad. I
actually
hate
on
to see a
January 6th,
king-
there was a lot of good things happening. And if you just think
I
back,
hate to see a king thrive and have his moment in the spotlight and then just like be so sad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, dude, so Democratic Party loyalists mostly get their talking points from MSNBC and CNN and New York Times op-ed pieces. So if they are all in unison saying what like we've been saying for fucking months, like what are the guys gonna do? They can't think on their own. They can't come up with like, you know, they can't spin it on their own. They're fucking cooked. They have to be having like this shocking moment, I think. At this point, stop crying, bruh. Yeah, dude, I'm so fucking sad that everything I've been saying for the past couple of years at this point is like literally unfolding in front of people's eyes. Yeah. All these people that would like, you know, consider what I have to say to be incredibly radical are now like literally repeating it. This is literally 8 months after October 7 all over again. Where do you hear, you know, people repeating the shit that I've been saying for months?
Yeah.
It's a moment of vindication.
Yeah.
Jeff,
I mean,
pre-debate.
you have to start thinking about like how like you can do this. And I think like if Democrats want to convince him to drop out, they have to disguise themselves as somebody who he actually respects and can change his thinking. So if they can convince them that they are the real corn pop, they might actually be able to change his mind.
The winner of tonight's debate from the Democrats. Come on, bro. Moments before this post was made. Yeah. Dude, they should all be collectively deciding who's going to be the next president or who's going to be the next presidential candidate right now instead of fucking posting this shit like they won.
Yeah. Imagine being the intern who had to press send on that.
This is holy fuck. I mean, they don't give a fuck. They're all bloodless in general. They don't give a shit. They'll get clearly the Democratic Party staffers don't fucking want the Democrats to win because they have been showing that time and time again with the demonstration of the worst political instincts I've ever seen from a, you know, modern American political party.
Who should they run? Who do you think they should run?
I mean,
who do you think?
I think you're absolutely
Camero's
right.
coming on CNN, let's go.
It's Gretch. It's Big Gretch.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it is.
Very
This is her
popular,
moment.
very important state, and very popular. She's like, she's a woman, so that'll make you know, the Democratic Party look even more woke on abortion.
Yeah. I don't think she would. I think if they asked her about abortion, she wouldn't talk about immigration instead.
Yeah.
Pritzker, he looks like he's pregnant. I'm sorry. I know people are a big fan of him because everybody's from Chicago for some reason. But
I like him because he's fat.
Yeah, I know. That's what's cool about him. He looks like the Kingpin from the
Yeah.
Spider-Man movie, and that's
Like,
really important to me.
I'm not even remotely joking on that. Like, I just like him because he's so fucking fat, and I think that's awesome.
I know. Fetterman used to be like that, but he got really annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, Fetterman just looks like an oaf. He's just like,
I
it's not the
know.
same. Like, Pritzker has like an energy to him.
Yeah. He's like a strength builder in Elden Ring.
We need a Sheldon Whitehouse. That's what we need.
That'd be cool.
Like, dude, anyone. I don't know. Like, literally anyone.
Obama. Bring back Obama.
Yeah, fuck it. Michelle Obama.
Oh, he can't run for a third term. Okay. Who cares?
Anything's better at this point.
Yeah. It would be
Anyway.
kind of, imagine him like winning this year and then he's president until he's like 86. It's going to get so crazy.
I mean, he's gonna die. No, I'm sorry. Like, I think the Democratic Party is literally looking to like keep him alive, embalmed over the finish line, and then it's over.
Yeah.
Like, he sits down in the White House, or at inauguration, he just perishes. Like, he gets Thanos snapped out of existence.
They're doing it as a challenge run. They're like, it'd be too easy to run. It's like how like people play like video games.
Yeah,
like,
from
with
Elden Ring.
Donkey
Yeah.
Kong.
Yeah, he's doing a fucking, what is it called? SL1?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, they're doing an SL1 playthrough of the election.
Yeah.
They're playing it with the Donkey Kong bongos.
I don't know. I have nothing else to say. Like it's just so like there was substantive things that we could talk about, but like I don't think a single person is going to be looking at like the substance. And there were definitely a lot of moments where Donald Trump was just being fucking insane. Like he started off so strong, which is the most important part. Because like that's when everyone is watching, right? Like the first 30 minutes is the most significant. And he basically dialed it back on the first 30 minutes. He had a couple of really good jabs. Joe Biden flubbed big time in the first 30 minutes. And then he started, you know, maybe overcooking a little bit, Donald Trump, I mean, and started just literally doing ad libs with the word immigrant, like trying to shove the word immigrant into as many conversations as possible. But
yeah, that's part of him trying to be smart Trump. That's like a thing that we're doing. That's how we might choose Burgum. That's smart Trump when he like had those debate talking points about how he was actually reducing CO2 emissions like with like pipelines. That was smart Trump. Like he's overthinking it and it's kind of lame, but like, and it'd be like, but Biden just can't press him on it.
wait, what? Tara Palmieri? What is Puck News? I mean, is Puck News legit? Now Republicans are starting to get paranoid. Latest text, honestly, this might have been bad for Trump. Biden may have been so bad they may replace him with someone that could actually beat Trump. I don't know about that. I doubt that they would.
I don't think you really say. Well, I mean, they are kind of convinced that like they're gonna drop him out at any moment. That's kind of real. Like Republicans, like consistently, like just have like at high levels have not been willing to believe that like they could actually run Biden.
Dude,
which I think
actually,
says a lot.
Okay, are you ready for this tinfoil hat conspiracy? Gavin Newsom has been suspiciously close to the Biden White House for quite some time. He's always rearing his ugly head. It was a beautiful head, let's be real.
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom has been secretly dipping Visine into Joe Brandon's water. Joe Brandon actually is getting poisoned by Gavin Newsom like he's a 1950s housewife with an abusive husband. Okay? With the hopes that he inevitably perishes. Okay? So that he can become the candidate. Because who do you see the most? You see Gavin the most. He's always
he's
around.
putting in the fucking work. Because he's putting in the work. You can't fault him for that.
Mama Gretch is too busy. She's too busy fucking, being a good governor and shit.
Yeah.
Falling asleep at the wheel a little bit. Gavin Newsom, he's there. He doesn't give a fuck about California. Let me tell you.
Stuff. Yeah. It's not that hard to veto everything.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's only back in California to fucking veto bills like that everyone has democratically voted on 1,000,000 times over.
Yeah.
to refuse the people's will.
Motivate voters in the polls?
I think
Let's hear what he has to say.
Significantly insignificant because it's de minimis because the American people have made up their mind. They don't support the policies of Donald Trump. They certainly don't support.
Damn, bro, he's listening to your Substack.
The American people always wanted this to be states' rights, which was laughable and absurd.
They already made up their
so
minds.
From that
They
perspective,
know.
I don't think that will matter. You saw it in all the elections since Dobbs, where Democrats are overperforming.
Facts.
We keep winning, and we have to keep our mind. So I think for all of us, worry less and do more. We have the opportunity to turn the page. We have the opportunity to put our heads down. We have the opportunity to universally have the back of this president who's had our back. You don't turn your back. You go home with the one that brought you to the dance. 100% all in. And I was very, very proud that he was able to articulate the work that he has done and lay a foundation of understanding of the lies and the deceit that continue to come out of Donald Trump's mouth.
You were out there getting a chorus of questions about whether Biden should step down. There is panic that has set in. There is panic that has set in among people who have watched this debate, who are Democrats, people who are strategists, and some even inside Democratic campaigns. Yeah. Do you think it's unfounded?
Well, I think it's unhelpful, and I think it's unnecessary.
He can even get himself to say unfounded.
We've got to keep our heads high. And as I say, we've got to have the back of this president. You don't turn your back because of one performance. What kind of party does that? It's been a masterclass. 15.6 million jobs. That's 8 times more than the last 3 Republican presidents combined. The only thing the last 3 Republican presidents have in common is recessions. Democrats deliver. This president has delivered. We need to deliver for him at this moment. With all due respect, the more time we start having these conversations, go down these rabbit holes, it's unhelpful to our democracy, our fate and future of this country, the world. They need us right now to step up, and that's exactly what I intend to do.
Not to belabor the point, but I mean, this was a Biden campaign strategy. This was their idea to do this debate now. And I wonder what you think they got out of it. What was Biden's strongest moment from this debate in your mind?
Well, again, back to the substance. He got
They got a lot out of it.
He had more stamina over the debate.
But was there one moment that you think sticks?
You know, it's difficult to assess. I need a little bit more objectivity and time away from this in the context of trying to pick those moments.
Can't spin it. Even he can't spin it, bro. Come
this
on.
This is an opportunity to sort of distill the essence of what this campaign's about. You're hearing the messaging from the campaign distilled down what that key message is. Turn the page. Go to North Carolina tomorrow. We'll get out there on the road. Surrogates need to step up. We need to step in to support this grassroots effort all across the United States. We need to raise money, and we need to understand what's at stake if we don't. We need to understand what's at stake if we turn our back at this critical time. There's too much.
If Biden and Trump are remembered for any particular line, to me it seemed like it would be the line, "I didn't have sex with a porn star," which is not something we've heard on a debate stage before.
No, when you use the words "I didn't have sex with a porn star," you're not winning, you're losing at that case.
Yeah, totally, dude. Keep coping.
I know our friends in New York have questions for you, so if we could go back to New York City.
That dude, it's so bad that like even Rachel Maddow is not talking about it that much. Even like MSNBC's like, yeah, it's fucking over. It's over.
Do what? What do you think that people who support President Biden, people in Democratic politics, people who are planning on voting for him, who are worried that he seemed older than they expected tonight, that he didn't seem to reassure people on stamina issues, as Joy was saying before, what should people
check
do?
with Jocelyn Benson, the Secretary of
Talk
State
about
of
what
Michigan.
he has done and what he's done recently.
What did she post? Did you link it to me on Discord?
Yeah.
Mood. Team Michigan. What?
It's happening.
Oh God. Oh my God. Get Big Gretch on the phone with the DNC. We need her. Oh, it's happening.
Yeah.
America needs a hot president. Like America's way happier when the president's hot. That was Donald Trump's only flaw. It just wasn't hot enough. That's why he's on Ozempic now. And he even brought it up when Joe Biden was fucking fat shaming him. When Joe Biden was fat shaming him, he was like, maybe I'm a little skinnier now. Oh.
That's why we need Newsom. Newsom would be a hot president also.
That's true. Yeah. Look at him looking at the camera with his baby eyes.
We need to buck up and focus on what's at stake and not navel gaze and not look back. You look forward. It's always about tomorrow. Everything's about tomorrow.
In terms of bucking up and not navel gazing?
With Donald Trump and his performance tonight and his doubling down on lies and deceit. We have that opportunity
tonight.
To build
the Democratic Party.
He's dick riding too hard. Let's hear Van Jones. Now was Val Jones. Van Jones.
That we already know that he's older and slower, but what he stands for matters. What he was, if you, as Axelrod said, if you wrote out what he said, if you didn't listen to it, the substance of what he said is truly the Democratic Party. And there's a pushback beginning to say the Democratic Party is too scared to stand up for Joe Biden. Other people will.
Yeah, but Van, can I just respond?
Yes, sir.
Listen, I believe this. I think when we see sort of voter surveys and so on of people who watch the debate and so on, they're going to be a lot different than you might think, because I don't think Donald Trump had a great night, and I think on substance, Biden
Are they doing like JFK cope right now? They're like, oh well, what if people are listening on the radio?
Oh my God, you still sound bad.
Oh no, he sounded bad on the radio too, man. What's happening?
So it becomes less an issue about loyalty to one person than to the idea of how much are you willing to fight for.
I just want to give a voice to other folks.
Let me jump in quickly on this point that Van just made, because one of the reasons I started this voter project is Washington is often wrong, about these things, so I'm always skeptical when all the elites in Washington or the people who live comfortable lives in Washington. This conversation is not just Washington. I want to make that clear tonight. This is Democrats across the country who are watching, Democrats who live in competitive areas, Democrats who love Joe Biden. It'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. But the other question I would just raise is, so there has to be a conversation with the president after tonight, right? Some of those conversations will be from people who say, sir, you should step aside. But if you want to take Van's position out there, the main organizing impetus in the Democratic Party is keep Donald Trump in retirement, right? Keep him out of the White House. So if you won't step aside, what are the conversations about what to do about tonight? Those will have to happen. So my question for the people who know best, and the one who knows the best is sitting right over there, is who can have that conversation with the president?
Who's the only person in the party?
I mean, Bill Clinton or Barack Obama might call him, but I don't know if that would matter.
There's
Is
one.
it Jill Biden, Ted Kaufman? Who is it?
Yes, yes. Jill Biden is the single most important person in terms of sharing criticism, in terms of being direct, in
But
terms
will
of
she?
the opinions. Oh, absolutely,
Like,
absolutely,
which of
yes.
the lords
And I
and
imagine
ladies
that there will be serious conversations within the president's inner circle. People like Mike Donnellan, people like Steve Ricchetti, people like Anita Dunn, who will have very direct conversations with the president. He is not somebody who shies away. He is absolutely, I think, as was said
Untrue.
earlier.
That's literally untrue. He's openly sheltered himself from any fucking criticism.
From having tough conversations and having direct feedback.
No.
So yes, absolutely.
No, that's how we got here, because he's not having tough conversations. No,
Discussions with
that's
him
cope.
about how to adjust the campaign for this. But I also think, to this point about waiting to see where actual voters land on this, is critically important before the elites sitting at this table determine that the rest of the country hated the performance. I think we got to see what voters have to say.
All right.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, wait, they have the poll?
John.
Do they have the poll?
I want to see.
Oh, damn.
I want to
I
see
wanna see the poll.
Dude. When the paid professional dick riders are literally being like, we have to execute him, we have to kill him, we have to push him down a flight of stairs, and then and then also maybe even execute Kamala Harris. I don't know.
Yeah.
We have to fix this entirely from the top to bottom. Like, when they're saying shit like that, no, dude, what do you think the average guy is thinking?
Yeah.
We already know. Polls have consistently shown time and time again, the overwhelming majority of likely Democratic Party voters are straight up saying that they think Joe Biden is too old. The polls show that
86% of the public, 86% of people, and they act like that's just like one consideration you have to balance out. Oh wait, what?
no, this is heading into the night from Kornacki. Poll, not capable of handling the presidency because of age. Joe Biden 45%, Donald Trump 16%.
And it's like, oh, they're almost the same age. It's like they did like in 2016. It's childish. I don't know how they even believe it. It's not what the actual reality is. It's like perception. That's all that's ever mattered in politics. If you said back in 2020 that oh, people might not like Medicare for all, but it's the better policy, they would have laughed at you. But for some reason now, it's acceptable to be like, oh, well, Joe Biden's actually a good president, so it doesn't matter what people think. I thought that the whole point of this was that you're supposed to actually meet people where they are. Since when did we become fucking babies about this? Come on.
I mean, it's always been the underlying basis of the mentality the Democratic Party routinely represents, which is you have to vote for us. If you vote for us, we can win. The entitlement is actually seeped into orifices that it normally did not operate inside of, where at least there was a level of competence demonstrated by the likes of Hillary Clinton to a certain degree, even though she was unlikable in a representation of elite politics or whatever, but she was at least obviously not deteriorating in front of our fucking eyes.
Lady. She won the first debate in a landslide.
So ultimately, right? It doesn't now it's gotten to a point where it's no, you have to vote for this carcass. Maybe if you vote for this carcass, we'll save democracy. It's bro, at a certain point, you got to swap this shit out because Americans don't vote like that.
In your own best interest, because I guess their Senate candidates are doing fine, but it's it doesn't help the party to have this unviable person. Oh, they got this shit out quickly.
Bro, Nicholas Kristof wrote an article before Brandon was done going home. President Biden, I've seen enough. Oh my God. Oh, it's so done.
The knives are out, huh?
Oh my God, dude. They're
I
just
didn't have
ageist.
anything prepared. Everybody thinks I'm a hater. I didn't have like some article like in the drafts for this. These people are they're fake friends.
Yeah, I mean, holy fuck, this is so bad. They have to, you know, they have to do something.
I want to see what the polling is like.
Oh, I know. I don't know why they haven't shown it yet. They're hiding the truth from us. Oh, let's hear what fucking she
You
has
have to have
say.
him out there and active and doing a lot of events and being very visible, right? And Nicole said this earlier, the best thing you can do as a communicator if you're advising him is change the subject, right? Is there an announcement you can make? Is there a big surrogate? Is there a Republican who's a surprise? I mean, if Chris Christie is waiting in the wings to endorse, tomorrow is the day. So, you know, I don't know what they have
Oh, yeah,
up
that's
their
what we've been
sleeves,
waiting
but that's
for.
what they need. I will also say, and I
He's
don't know the answer to
10%
this, so I'm
approval
posing it to
rating
you all know.
nationally.
I don't know
What
when.
did you say?
Oh, it's like Chris Christie. Chris Christie's the most unpopular person in the country.
Yeah. Oh,
everybody hates him.
Oh, here's Kamala Harris.
Inside the Democratic Party
Oh,
right
here,
now
let's
because
hear what this charisma suck has to say.
debate. He's been hearing from Democratic lawmakers and others around the country.
You know she's excited.
Some within your own party are wondering if President Biden should even step aside. What do you say to that?
Listen, first of all, what we saw tonight is the president making a very clear contrast with Donald Trump on all of the issues that matter to the American
on mental deterioration.
There was a slow start, but it was a strong finish. And what became very clear through the course of the night is that Joe Biden is fighting on behalf of the American people, on substance, on policy, on performance. Joe Biden is extraordinarily strong. And
But I'm sorry,
that
on
cannot
substance
be
and
debated.
policy and performance tonight, I mean, the president's performance tonight clearly was disappointing for his supporters. CNN is reporting Democratic lawmakers watching the debate were worried about the president's performance. One said it was a disaster. Another called it a train wreck. Those are Democrats especially worried that Biden did not punch back.
How
on
hard
Trump's
is she
lies.
holding back?
Listen, people can debate on style points, but ultimately this election and who is the president of the United States has to be about substance. And the contrast is clear. Look at what happened during the course of the debate. Donald Trump lied over and over and over again, as
This is
he
the
is
narrative?
wont to do. He would not disavow what happened on January 6th.
Look at stuff
He would
differently than how
not
they actually do, so we're not going to change anything.
stand by the election results this November.
Also, even on substance, like the Democratic Party sucks. What do you mean? Immigration is a massive fucking problem in the way, like a political problem, right? And like their solution is awful.
Completely ambiguous and all over the place about where he stands on that issue, despite the fact that he hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and that's exactly what they did. And just 3 years ago, we commemorated the 2-year anniversary of Dobbs, wherein women across our country have been denied emergency health care, have
All that may be
suffered
true. All
miscarriages
that
to
may
the
be
point that
true.
Bro, she's suffering from, you know how like there's an Adderall shortage? She's suffering from the benzo shortage. She's actually fucking alert
to
right
Donald
now.
Trump on the stage tonight. I mean, you debated against
He ate all of his medicine.
then Vice President Trump. Excuse me,
Yeah,
Vice
Trump
President
got into
Biden
the medicine cabinet
years ago.
or not Trump, I mean
and
Biden.
He was a very
Yeah.
different person on the stage 4 years ago when you debated him. You must. I mean, that's certainly true, is it not?
Anderson, the point has to be performance in terms of what a president does. A
Right, but
president who
that is
incites
what's
an
scary for
insurrection
people
against the
watching this.
Capitol. No, but I got the point that you're making about a 1.5-hour debate tonight. I'm talking about
It was too long.
3.5 years of performance in work that has been historic.
But is
whether
that
it be
the man
infrastructure,
who we
the
saw
former
on the
guy, the
stage
other
tonight?
guy,
Is that the
the other
person
guy
you
on
see
the
in meetings
debate
every day?
stage. The person that you saw on the debate stage that has, for the last 3.5 years, up until today, performed in a way that has been about, whether it be in the Oval Office, negotiating bipartisan deals so that we have an infrastructure, a real infrastructure plan where we're putting trillions of dollars on the streets of America to upgrade our infrastructure. Whether it be the person I see in the Oval Office who is meeting with heads of the military
hold
and
on.
the intelligence community and in the Situation Room, ensuring the safety of America. The person I see in Joe Biden on the world stage, convening world leaders who often ask for his advice, most recently just during the G7 conference. So I'm not going to spend all night with you talking about the last 90 minutes when I've been watching the last 3.5 years of performance.
But this was a debate that your campaign wanted. You pushed for this debate at this moment. Obviously, I mean, you can't honestly say, I mean, can you say that you are not concerned at all having watched the president's performance tonight?
It's so bad.
It was a slow start. That's obvious to everyone. I'm not going to debate that point. I'm talking about the choice in November. I'm talking about one of the most important elections in our collective lifetime. And do we want
they're trying to own it?
to
I guess it's probably a better idea than
look
fucking
at
avoiding
what
reality.
November will bring and go on a course for America that is about a destruction of democracy, electing a man who has said he'll be a dictator on day one? Or do we want to continue on a course that's about strengthening America's economy, building and creating 15 million
She's just
Americans?
talking about the talking points. She can't even do it. She can't
Thank
resort
God.
back to anything
I got
else.
that this is the
He said it was a
afterplay for the
slow
debate, this
start.
conversation that I'm in, and I understand why everyone wants to talk about it, but I think it's also important to recognize that the choice in November between these two people that were on the debate stage involves extraordinary stakes. And there's one person on that stage who has the endorsement of their
Are you ready? They
Yeah.
invoke the 25th Amendment. Okay.
Yes.
They invoke the 25th Amendment on Joe Biden, which is something that they wanted to do to Trump. The Democratic Party tries to do this. And then it doesn't, I don't know what the process looks like, but it would be very funny if the Republicans somehow stopped it from happening because they think he's the perfect.
Yeah, they could. I think. Yeah, because you need the cabinet members to vote in favor of it, and then I think the Congress has to vote in favor of it too. So they could keep him in power. I think.
Yeah. This is awesome. Also, it's wild to see CNN be so contentious to a bunch of fucking to a bunch of liberals. Like, it's just, you know, they're just hitting him on a lot of stuff that they would normally be super nice about.
51 years, and it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do, in fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected, and the MAGA Republicans control the Congress, and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
To someone who watched this debate tonight and has serious concerns about the President of the United States, what do you say to them about what they just saw?
They saw they witnessed the fact that if Donald Trump were elected to be president of the United States this November, he will sign a national abortion ban. Take him at his word. He said he would when he was president before. He said if it came to his desk, he'd sign it. There's no reason to believe anything would change. A national abortion ban means that folks in New York, California, Maryland, all these other states that have protected the right of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do will be at risk. That's what you should take away from that discussion.
And just finally,
Joe Biden was very clear.
I know we have to go.
He signed back into law the protections of Roe v. Wade.
The person we
These are
saw
big
tonight,
issues,
the president we saw
substantive
tonight on that
issues.
stage, is that how he is every day?
The Joe Biden that I work with every day is someone who, as I have said, has performed in a way that has been about bringing people into the Oval Office, Republicans
That was a
and
great way to ask that question. Anderson Cooper's such a piece of shit, dude. He's so
these days
good
because it
when
just
he wants
doesn't
to
happen,
be.
but Joe Biden can make it happen. The Joe Biden I see is someone who goes to our allies around the world and strengthens NATO to the point that there are 2 new members of NATO who just about 4 years ago, people said, is NATO even have a reason for existing?
Yeah, I'm a Rust Belt voter, and this is exactly why I'm voting for Joe Biden, because he brought in Sweden and Finland into NATO.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I'm a Harry Truman Democrat.
Yeah. The fucking dollar menu is like $8, but you know what, dude? I'm voting
No,
for the
nobody-
NATO thing. Thank
Yeah.
God.
They said that Sweden is in NATO now. Holy shit! Did you know Finland was historically neutral?
Oh wow, what a fucking own, dude. Thank you, Joe Biden.
You know he sent $200 billion to Ukraine and they're losing.
No, that's why. Oh, dude, Donald Trump hit that line so well when he's like, "This guy
They wouldn't have done
Zelensky,
it.
he comes in, he's the greatest salesman." And then he even turned around and was like, kind of more moderate about it too. I'm not even saying it's bad.
Yeah, he's trying to be smart, Trump. This convinced me he's going to pick Doug because he was trying to be smart. He was trying to be wise.
Yeah, dude, Bergamaniacs, we are rising up. I'm not even, I'm unironically a Bergamaniac. We've been really excited at the prospect.
Yeah, he's in
Here
the
at this
top
community.
now. It'd be funny if Trump picks Vance and like totally blows this. Like the headlines just all become about how like he picked a guy who's like an apologist for rape.
Oh yeah, JD Vance is also so ugly. He's just, he's not like Burgum. Burgum's hot.
No,
Trump
yeah,
needs a hot
Burgum.
guy. Trump needs a
Burgum's got
hot
that
guy.
Brezhnev riz.
Also, Burgum is like, I feel like cutting out the middleman. You know what I mean? JD Vance is like the middleman for Peter Thiel. Burgum himself is the billionaire, and he's like tapped in with the fucking Bill Gates of the world. You know?
Yeah. I did see Ben Rhodes, who's like a really close Obama guy, was like telling people they didn't see what they saw is not the way to respond to this. I'm hoping that this is like some like deep shit with about Obama, like how H.W. Bush, whenever he wanted to say something, he would always get like one of his boys, like Brent Snowcroft, to write some like article, and it was understood that that's what like H.W. Bush thought. I'm hoping that that's the case with Ben Rhodes, but I mean I don't know.
No, yeah.
I think Obama could save this. House Democrats are saying we need Whitmer. I met like a member of the House of Representatives on a train once, and Whitmer pilled them.
What is this? What is this? I asked Governor Gavin Newsom, are you going to be the next Democratic nominee? That's his answer while he's glowing.
Are you going to be the next Democratic nominee?
No, our nominee is Joe Biden. I'm looking forward to voting for him in November. He's going to be our nominee.
Because you know that everyone are talking about you as a possible nominee now.
Oh my God, bro. He can't even hide it. Look at his
smiling.
fucking smile ear to ear. Bro, that's okay. That's fucked up. That's fucked up, dude.
This is Game of Thrones shit.
Bro, Kamala is so not ready for this moment, by the way. I thought maybe she would be. I feel like Kamala Harris is such a fucking loser. Like, even she knows she's not getting this slot. Like,
yeah, she's gonna lose the contested convention.
Oh, dude, it's Gavin Newsom time.
Are you enjoying it?
We're going up here. Thanks.
Are you going to be the next?
He laughs at the end. Oh.
He is floating right now. He is so happy.
Oh my God. He's like, all the Visine I've secretly put into Joe Biden's water. Really pushing him over the edge. Oh, okay. All right. Well, Kamala could have said he had a cold. She doesn't even know the leaks. I know. He is fucking scheming, dude. Gavin Newsom, you scumbag. Gavin Newsom has so many negatives, I think. Like, that's why, unlike Gretchen Whitmer, I think like Gavin Newsom.
Oh no.
Under a normal situation, Gavin Newsom would be a fucking dog shit candidate, in my opinion. Specifically
I don't
because
know. I mean, the thing is with him is that he never tries. And then when they did the recall against him and he did try, he actually had a good result with that. But then in 2022, he didn't try and he did shit. So I don't know. Maybe if he locks in, maybe we haven't seen his full power.
But I mean, like, he's dog shit in the sense that, like, he has so many weaknesses, I think.
Yeah.
Like, one, being, obviously being, like, the governor of California. A lot of the country looks at California as, like, this bedlam, like, lawless land where, you know, immigrant homeless people are walking around like zombies and speaking languages you've never heard before and fucking killing people, right? Like, they think like people are doing the knockout game outside of my fucking door right now to the old white ladies. So there's that. California also has like real problems in terms of the homelessness issue. The housing market is absolutely fucked. So I feel like you have like all of the social issues that many of the even swing states would be like, oh, we don't really like that much. But then beyond that, you could just like talk about how bad the housing market is. And, you know, the campaign against them would be, don't make my country look like California. Because everyone's understanding of California is Skid Row. Like everywhere in California is Skid Row.
Yeah, you don't run like the governor of Arkansas for like the Republican nominee. Like you don't do that.
Yeah. So
Michigan is kind of nice. They got like nice like beaches there. They got nice woods.
Yeah. Axios has comments from the Dem U.S. House Reps, by the way. What they're saying, one House Democrat described the president's debate performance as awful, exclaiming, "What the fuck? I am in a state of shock," said another. Why are you shocked? I fucking hate these pieces of shit. How are you shocked? That's how he is.
They've been in La La Land. It's like they just hear them say, oh, Biden's actually really sharp behind closed doors, and they legitimately believed it.
I just don't understand it. Like, are you never around him? Like, what's happening? You never see him? You don't see any videos? When Hasan Piker says it's actually AI, you think that it's actually AI? Is that what you think is going on?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't meet anybody, so I guess they assumed he had to be. It's like too big to fail. It's like, well, he wouldn't be running if he was really that bad. It's like he wouldn't be that irresponsible.
Yeah, they have no understanding that like Joe Biden can be just as narcissistic and like childlike as Donald Trump. They don't think about that. Like it's like not in their realm of comprehension that like this guy could be just holding on for dear life at this thing because out of pure resentment, pure spite.
Yeah. That would be kind of cool if it wasn't for like how consequential it is.
One female House Democrat said it's time for a woman to save both these men from their misery. President Whitmer has a strong ring to it, referring to Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Whitmentum.
Yeah. They're saying it. They're saying Big Gretch all around the halls of Congress. Yeah, it's I don't know. Do we even talk about the policy, the substance? Like it was.
He said he was the most pro-Israel president in his one moment of lucidity.
Yeah. I'm glad that he woke up for that one where he was like, they gyrated on that shit. They were like, I knew it was going to be a fucking slop job. Like they were going to be fucking panicking on who gets to talk about how much they want to suck Benjamin Netanyahu's dick harder. And they showed up for that. I'm glad that they did that. They went hard on that.
Yeah, I'm checking my DMs. We are cooked, brother. It's never been more over.
Yeah, so, no, I've been getting text messages nonstop. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
What am I looking at?
Yeah. Newsom is at like 20 cents in like the presidential betting odds, which I think that's just MAGA money. I don't think that's real, but it is kind of funny.
Yeah.
The 35 uncommitted delegates deciding the contested convention.
A chatter asks, can you explain Charlottesville comparison to the Palestine thing? I didn't understand that. Yes.
Oh,
in the media circles. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. He was saying that the pro-Palestine encampments and like protest are equivalent to the Charlottesville riots.
Yeah.
That was his.
Because in media circles, and not because if you're getting everything filtered through the lens of this broadcast, like you get a very different perspective. But like in mainstream media, it is not even discussed as anything but like deeply anti-Semitic. Those college protests are seen by those over the age of 35 as like the most anti-Semitic thing anyone has ever done. Like that's why when I cover like the LA synagogue protests where they were just like trying to sell real estate in the fucking West Bank, like stolen real estate, the way that they covered it in mainstream media from Fox News all the way to Morning Joe was like they are attacking synagogues because Jewish people are trying to pray in there. Like they don't.
They said it was a pogrom.
Yeah, Van Jones literally called it a pogrom.
Yeah,
that's what he said. He said like walking in. He said going to a neighborhood, a Jewish neighborhood with a keffiyeh is akin to waving the fucking Confederate flag in a black neighborhood. That's what he said.
Yeah, it's just he's really like a deep sleeper cell at this point.
Oh, now they're doing the fact checks. Oh, here we go. Finally.
Yeah, that's gonna work. It's only taken 10 years.
Trump in 2018.
I love that everybody, even the Democrats, wanted Roe overturned. Like, no one believes that. It doesn't matter. I don't think Republicans believe that. I have not met... Dude, that is the worst way to try to defend this position, which is like pretty indefensible in general. But I'm kind of shocked that they couldn't come up with anything better. Like, it's states' rights, and also everybody, all the legal scholars wanted to overturn Roe v. Wade. That's what he keeps going with? Like... That's so bad, brother. That is so cooked.
Stuff he said, I mean, it wasn't exactly 200 million, but it's like 150 billion.
His own campaign cannot corroborate this. He said Biden has only created jobs for illegal immigrants. Total nonsense. He said Nancy Pelosi turned down his offer of 10,000 National Guard troops on January 6th. There's no evidence she even got such an offer. It was the president, not Pelosi, who had the power to deploy the D.C. Guard. He said Pelosi now acknowledges she turned down the troops. No, her office tells me this claim is still a lie. He said he deployed the National Guard to Minneapolis in 2020. Actually, that was the Democratic governor. He spoke of, quote, ridiculous fraud in the 2020 election. Zero evidence of any widespread fraud. He said NATO was going out of business before he took office. Completely, clearly absurd. He said the U.S. was paying 100% of NATO before he came along. The U.S. made up about 71% of NATO defense spending, not 100. He said he, not Biden, is the one who lowered insulin prices in Medicare. He did it for some seniors, but Biden did it for far more. He said Biden indicted him again.
Even the fact checks are fucking kind of like...
Any of these 4 prosecutions. He said Europe takes no U.S. cars, just not true. He spoke of food prices quadrupling under Biden. That's a wild exaggeration, though they are up. He said Biden made up the idea he called dead service members suckers and losers. No, the Atlantic magazine reported that, and then former Trump chief of staff John Kelly.
Dude, these fact checkers are actually kind of not even cooking Trump a little bit. Like, they're like, oh, it's only 71%. Like, come on, bro.
For 10 years, though he did at least once speak of, quote, predators
he didn't
without
have
specifying it was
water.
about black people. He said his Trump tax cut was the largest in U.S. history. Not true, though, in fairness, Biden also said this. Trump said China and others stopped buying from Iran under him. China never stopped. He revived his pet lie, I don't know how many times I've done it, that he signed the Veterans Choice Program into law. Barack Obama did that in 2014. Trump signed an expanded version in 2018. And finally, Trump said Biden got rid of that veterans program. Biden has not done that.
All right. Well, Daniel Dale, thank you very much going through every single one of those clearly.
Dude.
Long list.
Dude, that was the worst fact checking I've ever seen.
Yeah, they were just like going by the numbers there. They weren't really trying.
That's
little
crazy.
Marco.
Like
little Marco.
Appearance of everything as we've been talking about.
That's the vice president you're talking to. That's the next vice president. No, he's not getting that.
Points. Does that give you pause?
Well, first of all, some of those things, like the last one he talked about was the VA choice. The VA choice program has actually not been fully implemented. It's been undermined in its implementation. So I think what Donald Trump is saying is that basically this was in place, it was expanded. The Biden administration has actually slowed it down and impeded its implementation. I don't remember all 30 of them he went through, and obviously we don't have to go through the Biden ones either. Suffice it to say that I think tonight, we all are in politics. I'm in office, you guys cover it. But there are millions of people watching who basically want to ask themselves, were we better off under Trump or were we better off under Biden? Did I have more money in my pocket? Was the world safer and more secure? Was the country safer and more secure? And I just think more and more Americans are concluding that they were better off in the 4 years Trump was president than in the 4 years.
Damn, why is he being nice? Why is he not cooking Biden right now?
That's the core issue of this campaign that's going to decide it.
Even with COVID? I mean, it was bad.
Yeah, COVID was bad, but Trump didn't create COVID. COVID impacted the entire planet.
But that was how people felt. That was what they lived through.
Sure, but I mean, what does Trump have to do with COVID? He didn't invite. And on the contrary, I vividly recall when he implemented the travel ban from China. I want to say January, maybe February of that year. It was Nancy Pelosi and people like that were criticizing. I think Biden called him a xenophobe for the China ban. We wish we would have done it earlier in hindsight. He invested a massive amount of money, which we had to do, in Operation Warp Speed, that came up with not 1 but 3 vaccines. So if you think about our efforts and the Patient Protection Program, which is bipartisan, but his administration was a key part of, saved Main Street America when everything was being shut down, including states that were shut down for a year. So even those things he doesn't get enough credit for. But obviously, COVID was an anomaly in human history, something that happens once every 100 years and hopefully never happens again. But overall, people have recollections of those years in which they had more money in their pocket. That's a fact.
So I want to ask you about some things as you sit here as his surrogate that he said tonight that are important to you. And I want to start with NATO. The issue of NATO came up and what he thinks about NATO. I want to play that for you, Senator.
Okay.
This is a guy who wants to get out of NATO. Are you going to stay in NATO?
Wait, he didn't even say anything. That's just Biden.
Are you okay with that? He shrugged.
Well, I think this is the negotiator in him. I was in the Senate when he was the president, and he would talk to these guys not like a politician would normally, but he basically is trying to negotiate so that our partners do more. Interestingly enough, the Eastern European countries all punch above their weight in terms of how much they contribute. Poland is an example. The Western European countries have been slower to come to the table and do more. Now, Germany's got going after the Ukraine, and others have gotten going a little bit more. But the truth of the matter is that NATO has been an unbalanced alliance for a substantial period of time. And we tolerated it during the Cold War, but now I think that has to be re-examined. So it's not so much about getting out of NATO, but you have to use some sort of leverage and negotiating tactic to force countries that have these massive social safety nets to spend a little bit more money on their own defense.
So you see it as negotiating. I mean, I know you led legislation that would have required an act of Congress before a president of the United States could...
My controversial opinion is that Donald Trump is actually right about demanding more money from other NATO partners because America is a dying empire, and that like this is a protection racket ultimately, a protection racket that benefits the military industrial complex. But like he literally is just like demanding more money from those guys. Like he's just like, no, you got to pay more. You got to pay more for American weapons. I think that's what he's saying.
Military capability and other French capability and other military capabilities from multiple European countries.
Well,
just like from a just like his opinion on the tariffs, just like his opinion on the fucking tariffs, like, you know, the Biden administration basically adopted that position. And even with respect to like NATO, I think I wouldn't be shocked if like, I mean, we know since Ukraine, European allies, as Marco Rubio correctly pointed out, have literally paid more into NATO. They have started developing their own weapons more. They've also started pulling their own weight, I guess. Like they literally, obviously I disagree with the underlying premise that NATO should exist. But if you are like an American general, I suspect that you don't necessarily have that much of an issue with Donald Trump saying like, oh, European countries need to put in more to NATO.
Yeah. And the shit with that, and not a lot of people know this, but they did pass a law in Congress that said you can't withdraw from NATO without the Senate agreeing to it. So like in terms of that being a legitimate issue, it like doesn't really exist.
Oh yeah, no, that of course, it's American foreign policy. That's fucking bullshit. Anyone who thinks that like a president can change alter the trajectory of American foreign policy, especially like one of the most significant aspects of American foreign policy, is delusional, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just not a thing that will ever happen. Anyway.
I'm not trying to evade you. I honestly don't know who he's going to pick. And, you know, those are things that you have to make a decision on. Then we'll figure out whoever it is that they pick, what it is they need to do to make their candidacy possible. But ultimately, I think, and I'm not trying to get back to this debate because I do think it's an important night. Maybe this is the last debate. I don't know. I hope it's not. But if it is, I think there's an element here that, look, I don't take glee in it in saying this, but clearly the president struggled tonight. And I do worry about the impact.
He's being so nice. Why is he being so nice?
In Tehran, in places where Moscow, where adversaries see that, and perhaps
what?
Because he knows Doug already took that shit. He has nothing left to live
United
for.
States because they feel our president is.
I mean, it's definitely not him. Out of all this, out of all the picks, like he's the one guy I don't think he's ever had a shot.
I haven't watched what people are saying on the shows, but we saw that tonight, and I do think that's a factor here. I really do.
All right. Well, Senator Rubio, I appreciate your time, and thank you very much. And coming up, the results of our flash poll of voters' opinions of tonight's debate. Our David Chalian is going to join us with all of the numbers, the details, the analysis after this.
He doesn't want to be rude to a dying man. What happens if Biden dies before he's elected? I mean, they just have to put another person in that. Like, Kamala Harris becomes the president, but I doubt that the DNC would want her to be the presidential candidate.
Yeah.
So.
She's a danger to the establishment.
Yeah. She's powered up by dialectical materialism. That's why they're afraid. They're afraid that she's going to do a Marxist revolution.
Yeah.
A proletarian.
I did see supposedly the Univision panel, like a lot of the Latino undecided voters said that they like wanted to vote for Biden now. I think that was because of Trump constantly saying they were all criminals. So I mean, maybe like
That's
everybody.
see, yep, there you go. It would be really nice, don't you think, if the alternative to Trump wasn't also being like, well, immigrant rapists and their victims need to get abortions when being asked about when being asked about abortion, like, yeah, you know, beautiful white women that are getting raped by these barbaric immigrants, they need to get abortions too.
That was literally his angle. That was the only way they could get his racist ass to say that, like, we need abortions are valuable. Because Biden is just fucking pro-life. He doesn't like abortion.
It's so bad. It's so fucking bad. Ay, ay, ay. All right, let's see let's see. This is going to be less contentious, I suspect.
Pro-abortion rights, or if you want to codify Roe, or if you are a critic of the decision to overturn Roe and have these abortion bans, then you are a murderer, and that you want to kill infants, and that what people who are pro-choice are people who want to kill babies after they are born. And I sometimes say this is Earth 2. This is not a factually based thing at all. But he repeatedly reiterates that. It's not the moderator's job, though, to fact check that. It's essentially the other candidate's job to fact check that. I wonder what your thought just strategically is in terms of countering a counter narrative and a lie about abortion rights that's so obscene and yet so insistently repeated by their side and by their candidate.
Well, the facts are exactly what are on our side, to your point, Rachel. First of all, what they are talking about is they are attempting to, as they are wont to do, especially Donald Trump, create fear based on fiction. For the sake of getting and hitting political points. What we know and what he is acutely aware of is what he has done and intended to do is not politically popular with a lot of people in both so-called red states and blue states. And so now you see him wavering. Let's not forget, when he was president of the United States, he said that if a national abortion ban was sent to his desk, he would sign it.
No mention about guns or gun control? Yeah, guess what, dude? I fucking called that shit too. I told you they were going to talk about fucking gun control. No shot.
We know that when Donald Trump comes in, if he has a Congress that passes a national abortion ban, he will sign it into law. One of the most fundamental issues of our time. Fundamental. The idea that the government would take the ability of an individual to make decisions about their own body and replace their good judgment with that of the government. That's what's happened in our country. 3 days ago, we just commemorated the 2-year anniversary of the Dobbs decision.
Oh, God. She's so fucking bad, dude. Oh, God. Oh, my God. The Democratic Party. What the fuck, dude? What the absolute fuck? It's so funny because it's like a Game of Thrones all the way down. Because, like, the Democratic Party is basically relying at this point on, like, I don't know, some fucking random, like, Arkansas Republican to come out and be like, I think women that have sex out of marriage should be murdered. And then the Supreme Court of the state, for some weird reason, decides that, yeah, no, that is actually sound or some shit. Like a state legislature passes a bill like that. And then like it, you know, it relitigates and re-triggers the fucking abortion conversation over and over again. And that's basically all they got. And to be fair, the Republican Party keeps doing that shit. I saw you post about it the other day. Like there was another fucking moment where they're like, there was the 10 Commandments shit that they did. Yeah. Which was so silly, so stupid. Who the fuck are you doing this for? Even the Supreme Court recognizes with the way that they, CNN is doing polls. All right, let's take a look. Flash polls. Oh, brother, here it is.
These debate watchers do pretty much look like registered voters, maybe about 4 or 5 percentage points more Republican than the usual universe of registered voters. So just to keep that in mind as you see these results. That little bit of shift won't make a difference here. Look at the big question of the night. Who won the debate? We asked debate watchers in our instant poll, and the answer is a resounding Donald Trump did. 67% of debate watchers in our poll say Donald Trump won the debate tonight. Joe Biden, 33% say he won the debate tonight. Now, this group of debate watchers, they told us who they thought would win the debate going into it before the debate.
Oh, no, this is going to be so sad.
Take a look at how that changed over time. 55% thought before the debate that Donald Trump would win the debate. 45% thought Joe Biden would win the debate. look at what the debate did to those expectations. That's when, Donald Trump did much better than expected. Joe Biden did worse than expected among this group. And compare this to these two men debating 4 years ago. That's not always a comparison we have, obviously. The rematch is pretty unique. And so take a look at the complete reversal. Again, that top line there is the debate tonight. 67% say Trump won, 33% said Biden. The next line is the second debate in 2020, where Biden won there by about 14 percentage points, 53-39 in our instant poll that night. This looks a little bit more like the first debate. Chris Wallace moderated, 60% Joe Biden won that debate that night. 28% said Donald Trump won the debate that night. You can see how this night sort of is a complete reversal of that one. And then take a look at this question we asked. Do you have confidence in the candidate's ability to lead the country? Confidence in ability to lead the country. 14% said they have a lot of confidence in Biden. 36% of debate watchers say they have a lot of confidence in Trump. Neither of those numbers are stellar, by the way. You see 29% say some for Biden, 20% Trump. But here, a majority of debate watchers, 57%, say no confidence in Joe Biden's ability to lead the country.
The
44%.
majority.
Again, that is not a great number.
Good
That is
for
a
Trump at
healthy
all.
plurality there.
That's not even good for Trump.
It's not. But I mean, but that makes sense. That makes sense. Trump sucks too. Like it's just like this is a race of who sucks worse.
A majority say Joe Biden. They're not confident he can.
This is a fucking CNN poll after the debate. Oh God, it's so
that
cooked.
David just shared with us. Trump won 67%, Biden won 33%. That's not what we're hearing out there. It's not what we're seeing on social media. I mean, that's a resounding loss, but it's not 100-0, which is what.
But remember, we're
hearing in punditry.
About a high bar. We went in
It's
thinking
called
about low bars.
partisanship.
And
There are
in terms of,
Democrats who will say he won no
meeting
matter
expectations,
what.
exceeding expectations.
She said it's not 100-0. I've never heard this level of copium before. That's like Fox
insane.
News wouldn't do that level of dick riding for Trump.
No. They would be embarrassed.
What the fuck? Well, one person said that Trump did well.
His age and his ability to lead another 4 years. It's not just that he's president right now. It's that he's asking voters for another term. And that was how Dana phrased the question tonight, that he would be 86 at the end of a second term if he were reelected. And instead, they're walking out of this with those questions only raised and being raised at the top levels of the Democratic Party. And the vice president defending his performance to Anderson, acknowledging that, yes, it was a slow start, though it was also a pretty difficult end as well. If you watched his closing statement, compared to his closing statement that he delivered during the Chris Wallace debate, which I watched truly this morning, it was a very strong closing statement. In this one, he didn't even mention the word abortion. And it makes all the talk of Republicans this week, including President Trump, saying that Biden was going to be on cocaine, and other Republicans claiming that he was going to be on performance-enhancing drugs, seem quite quaint when you look at what the conversation is now.
I also don't think that you can make too much of the fact that 33% said Biden won the debate. There's a certain number of people who just either like Biden or hate Trump, and they're never going to say that Trump won the debate. So I think that's a kind of just, I don't think that's a reflection of the way they viewed the debate. It's a reflection of how they feel about the two candidates.
Okay, what about the other point, though, to what David just laid out? So when you look at the first debate in 2020,
He's absolutely right. Like, some of you guys won't see the top of the hour ad break because you're subscribed, and many others who are unsubscribed will see the top of the hour ad break, unless you subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
Say, well, another debate could turn this around. But this is a different situation, right? Because it's about age.
Age and competence and acuity and the ability to do the job and the ability to do the job for 4.5 more years. I mean, this speaks to the biggest question that people have about.
You objectively can't say Trump won, though. He proved he's an outright dipshit. What? Everybody knows he's a dipshit. He was the fucking president. What are you talking about?
He's been running for president or president for a decade. Like this has already been established.
Yeah, dude. People are. Yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the one guy who's like, who's this Trump guy? Let me tune into CNN. Oh wow, he seems like kind of an asshole. Like, these guys are maxed out on name recognition. One guy has been in politics for 100 years. The other guy was a TV personality and like, you know, the most polarizing president. I don't know if you knew that or not. It's not 2016, chatter. Everybody knows, and everybody's made up their fucking minds. Right now, it's a race to the bottom on like people that aren't currently motivated to go out to vote, but you know, maybe they will go, all right, you know what? This is pushing me over the edge.
Yeah, you have to. This is why it's just such a missed opportunity, because the theory of the case for Biden this entire time has always been that Trump has done the best with the people who are paying the least attention, and Biden does the best with the people who are paying the most attention. So ideally for Biden, the hope is that that difference is only because people just aren't paying attention. They forgot how bad Trump is. And like once the election gets closer and you have these big high profile events, people will like realize how much they hated him, and things will like kind of return. It'll look more like it does in the Senate races. This was supposed to be one of the big chances he had to do that. And you would think that, like, given the difference between perception and reality with Trump is getting so extreme, people are remembering him as this strong, decisive leader when he objectively is just a dipshit. You would think that like this type of event where people are just paying more attention to Trump and how stupid he is would get in the way of that. It would make them reconsider. Biden did the thing that destroyed this, and what I didn't even think could have been possible, like giving him maybe too much credit than I should have. He got in the way of that. So it was a massive missed opportunity. It made an already big problem even worse. And like, just even if like you really believe that Biden like has a track to winning, this just went the exact opposite way you would want.
Yeah, this person says, dude, just put your MAGA bag hat on, get your money. This is USA. Dude, you don't seem all that polarized against Trump. What do you want me to do? I'm an online political commentator with political opinions that are completely outside of the neat little confines of liberal mainstream media. I am not even getting looks from the Democratic Party for like media opportunities or even like linking up with prominent Democrats. Not that I want to. Like, do you think I have any fucking sway in this at all? Who do you think is more powerful in like, who do you think is more responsible for the upcoming shocking electoral defeat for Joe Biden? Me, a Twitch streamer, or the DNC, who is literally pushing a cadaver over the finish line, even though I have been saying and everyone else has been saying outside of the DNC has been saying that he's old as fuck and he should not be running. If you want to win, you cannot have him run.